Last year, at this world meeting, I sat down with the director of the MPS Society, the Mucopolysaccharidosis Society, the national one in the United States and in the UK. And we decided that one of the things that was really needed were consistent endpoints in clinical trials. There are a lot of clinical trials going on right now in MPS 1, MPS 2, MPS 3, and we really felt like people were using many different kinds of tools to measure their treatments. And if you use different tools, you're not going to be able to compare one outcome with another. And so we decided that we needed to have a conference of experts. We would invite experts in the field and have one day of education about the different measures and how to apply them, and the second day to have a panel of 15 experts who would then come to a consensus about what the best practices were for cognitive endpoints in clinical trials for MPS disorders. And so we put together a steering committee who then chose these 15 people. We compiled a list of about 125 experts in the field in addition, and we decided to have the program in London because that was Europe, Asia, US. We would have it there. We would really want to have an international kind of meeting. And so we invited all of these people. We also went to the pharma companies and we said, look, we need money to have this meeting. It's for your benefit. And we had 18 companies that supported this meeting. They were not allowed to participate in the panel decisions or even in much of the discussion, but they were all there and they were very supportive of this program. So it ended up being a collaboration between the scientists, the patients, and the patient advocates groups, and the pharmaceutical companies, which in itself was a very, very nice thing to see. So we had our meeting on December 2nd and 3rd. We had a expert facilitator work with us on the Delphi method, which is a iterative process where you have many votes until you come to the best consensus you can. And we did that over the course of a day. We made some decisions about what tests were best for different ages, how to apply those tests, what kinds of conditions were necessary, especially when you have multiple nationalities, multinational clinical trials, and you need to have tests in different languages and different cultures. How do you do that? And so we made some recommendations about that. We also made some recommendations about natural history studies and how that data should be shared, particularly with the different companies and the patient advocates. So after the meeting, we had a medical writer there who wrote up the consensus, and we also had a psychologist from the US who had reviewed all of the literature on these different tests and approaches to the tests. And that psychologist and myself wrote a paper reviewing all the literature in this field. And so both of those papers we're hoping will be submitted for publication at the end of this month. And I think altogether we were very excited about the collaboration of all these different folks. And hopefully this will sort of accelerate the process of developing consistent and good clinical trials in children with neurodegenerative diseases. This is a model that could be used for any disease. And so other neurodegenerative diseases could certainly put together something like this so that, again, you don't have different pharmaceutical companies approaching a clinical trial in a different way. You want these clinical trials to be comparable so that you know which treatments have the best outcomes.